We are now on lesson 16, which goes over the sixth principal part, which is the aorist passive and the future passive. And so none of this lesson should be new to you information-wise. That's probably too strong. But you know what aorist means, right? You know it's the secondary of the perfective, simple past. And you know what future means. It's perfective in the future. And then you know what passive means, right? The action is being done to the subject rather than the subject doing the action. So just putting those together, that's what the aorist means. So rather than I ate, the aorist passive would be, it has to be done to me, I was eaten. Something like that. The future, rather than I will eat, looking into the future, we have to make it passive. I will be eaten. So those are the basic meanings of the aorist passive and the future passive. The thing that you have to learn here are the different forms. So the first thing is that the aorist passive and the future passive take the sixth principal part. So going to our principal part, we know the present and imperfect take the first one, the future takes the second, the aorist takes the third, the perfect active takes the fourth, the perfect middle passive takes the fifth, and now we are completing our principal part chart. This is the last principal part that you need to learn. So the aorist passive and the future passive take the sixth principal part. And so like before, there's going to be some that are formed regularly and some that will be irregular, and using this principal part chart will be beneficial for catching where those irregularities are. So when we go to mounts is master verb chart, we can see how the aorist passive and the future passive are formed. So let's start with the aorist passive. So here, first aorist passive. We get the added augment. We get the aorist passive stem, so the sixth principal part column. Then, rather than sa or ka, as we've learned, now the aorist passive takes a they, tense formative, and then put on here our secondary active endings, which is annoying because it's a passive verb, but here it takes the active endings up here. And because it has they, you're going to have to just look at this column here. So we'll have thane, thace, they, thamen, theta, thane as the endings. And it'll have the added augment at the beginning before the stem. For the future, let's go up here to future. There is no augment because we're not in the past. So there's no augment. It takes the aorist passive stem, so the sixth column in the principal part. It has the theta eta, like the aorist passive, but it adds sigma. So thace. And then it still has the connecting vowel, and then adds the primary middle passive endings. So you can see lu thesome over here. So if I go back over here, so it's going to take these endings. Ome, I, ete, omete, este, onte. So you add no augment in the future, but we add the thace. So it would be lu thesome, lu these, lu thesetai, lu thesomata, lu thesiste, lu thesonte. That's how you form the future passive. Let's go look at the forms. So we're looking at the endings here, and it has your normal aorist endings. You can see, but yeah, the sigma here, you see the on. This is probably the most unusual form here that you'll have to look at. But the theta eta there and the epsilon at the beginning. Oh, and second aorist. There's second aorist as well. So if we go look at mounts on the second aorist passive here, we add the epsilon, we take the sixth principal part. Rather than a theta, the theta drops, but it still has the same endings. So the only difference between first and second aorist is that the theta drops, and you'll have to check that the stem change for the second aorist. So you'll have to look at your principal parts. The future we looked at luthesome, luthisi, luthisete, luthisomata, luthiseste, and luthisonte. And then it talks about the infinitive, and you can see the theta eta in there, and you'll have to memorize the form there. Okay, and then it gives you some examples there to look at. So that's the end of this lesson.
We hope you enjoyed this episode of the Bible Toolbox. All of the resources mentioned in this episode are posted on our website, thebiblettoolbox.com. There you can also find out more information on how to give and support us, and we have loved all of the encouragement and feedback we've received from you, so thanks so much.